Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea and I'm so happy that you're here today. We are talking all things end of the year, but more specifically, we are talking about the 10 books that I would love to read before the end of the year. Now, full disclaimer, a few of these books are rereads, but there is a point to why I am rereading these books and I'm sure you guys know why. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, we have Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Last Hours trilogy by Cassandra Clare in the Shadowhunter world, and my goal for this year was to finish the Shadowhunter world, and this is book 2 out of 3 in the last series that I have to finish, so I only have 2 books left. So technically books 2 and 3 are on this list, Chain of Iron and Chain of Gold, which is book 3. This completes the whole world and I'm so sad about it, but I'm really happy to finally be getting to these stories, to these characters. I've loved this series so far and I can't wait to see how it ends. I am currently in the middle of reading this book, so I'm definitely gonna finish this one. I don't own Chain of Thorns, so a great excuse to go pick up one more book before the year ends. Next up on our list is Air by Sabaa Tahir. This is her new release in a duology, I believe, that takes place in the world of the Ember and the Ashes series. I believe this is several years after the Ember and the Ashes series ends, and if you know, that series is near and dear to my heart and I'm so excited, but also really nervous to pick this up because I just am afraid it's gonna break my heart. Like, I know her writing, this is gonna break me, but I can't wait to be back in this world. I think she's such an incredible author, builds the most beautiful worlds, and I can't wait to jump into this one very soon. Next up, we have one of my rereads for the year, and this was actually not a book that I was planning on rereading or a series I was planning on rereading, but my book club picked it for the month and I thought, why not? Let's just reread the series before I pick up the third book, and that is Beartown and, of course, Us Against You. This is books 1 and 2 in the Beartown trilogy. I do have book 3, The Winners, on my cart, but I have yet to pick it up and I think I'll be reading it in January with a couple of friends. So this is actually perfect timing because while I remember the overarching story of this series, there are a lot of details that I believe I've forgotten and possibly some characters. So I would love to jump back into these, kind of familiarize myself with the world again, with the town, with the characters, and be ready to go so that The Winners hits the way I think I want it to. Am I gonna be so heartbroken? Probably, but it's worth it to read Fredrik Backman's writing. This series is so excellent. If you don't know, Beartown is about a tiny little town in Sweden that is known for its amateur, junior hockey team, but the town is kind of on the down. I believe the factory has shuttered, so people don't have work, and the only thing they really have is this hockey team and the promise that they are going to win like the championship this year because of the star hockey player. A new coach comes to town with his family and a situation arises between the coach's daughter and our main hockey star, and the town is basically split in two. And this series follows the town, it follows the characters and the aftermath of that event. It's very powerful, it's heartbreaking, it's very thought-provoking, and I believe it'll be a really good book club book, but I'm excited to get back to both of these. For book number 5 on our list, we do have a book from my November TBR, so putting it on both lists I'm hoping will get me to read this book, but that is none other than Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I need to read this book in November. Like, I can't let this go because if I get too close to Christmas, it'll lose its magic for me. I wanted to read this in October because it just gives like total October spooky vibes, but I think if I read it in fall, I'll still be okay. No, we're not talking about the fact that I've already started decorating for Christmas. This is gonna happen either way. I don't know much about this, but I believe there is a ghost that is haunting a house that a real estate agent is trying to sell, and I think the real estate agent is, yes, the real estate agent is a vampire and she needs to get the ghost out of the house, and in order to do that she needs some other paranormal beings to kind of help her accomplish her goal. There's literally everything in here. I think there's a witch, a vampire, a ghost, a medium, like everyone you can imagine is in this book. So I am excited to get this one. It is a little intimidating, I think, and I don't know why. I know Olive E. Blake's writing is incredibly unique to me. Like, it's not a fast read, and I think that's why I'm feeling intimidated by it, because it's going to take me some time, and I haven't always been in the mood for that recently. So I need to pick this up. It needs to be done in November, so it's going on this list. The next book is kind of along those same lines of being intimidated. It's also on my November TBR. If you've watched that video, you know what book I'm talking about. And that is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Wow, we have 3 books by Cassandra Clare on this list. That's incredible. I have been putting it off for so long. It's so chunky, it's a brand new world, it's an adult fantasy, and I'm just not used to that from this author, but I have heard good things. I love her writing, I love her world building. I'm sure this book will be no different, but I'm a little bit terrified to be disappointed, which is probably why I haven't picked it up yet. I need to read this year. This needs to happen, so it's going on the list to keep me accountable. Again, I know nothing about this book, but it starts by saying, in the vibrant city-state of Castellane, the richest of nobles and the most debauched of criminals have one thing in common: the constant search for wealth, power, and the next hedonistic thrill. Kell is an orphan, stolen from the life he knew to become the Swordcatcher, the body double of a royal heir, Prince Connor Aurelian. He has been raised alongside the prince, trained in every aspect of combat and statecraft. He and Connor are as close as brothers, but Kell knows that his destiny is to die for Connor. No other future is possible. Okay, there's also a girl in here that might be an assassin. I don't know. Again, I'm a little intimidated by it, so I just need to bite the bullet and do it. If you know me in real life, ask me about this book. Make sure I pick this up because this needs to happen this year. The next couple of books on this list are also rereads, and if you know what's coming out in January, then you've probably already guessed what books these are, and that would be Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, because book 3 is coming out in January, and I'm so excited for book 3. Now, in all transparency, I really loved this book. It was not a 5-star for me, it was like a 4-star, but I had such a great time reading this book. This book was not it, I'm gonna be honest. So I have really high hopes for Onyx Storm. I think the reason I want to reread these 2 books is because I want to see if there are clues, little snippets, little hints of things that are happening in Iron Flame and might happen in Onyx Storm. I want to see if we can kind of find some little hints throughout this series. I also want to remember every single detail I can before Onyx Storm comes out. I feel like when I read Iron Flame, there were some things that I had forgotten that had happened in Fourth Wing, and I think it made it a little bit less enjoyable for me because I was like, wait, what's happening? I had read it several months before and I just forgot a lot of stuff, so I don't want that to happen with Onyx Storm. So Fourth Wing and Iron Flame are books 8 and 9 on my 10 before the end list. Last but certainly not least, we are putting Shadow and Storms by Helen Scher on this list. I have this on my Kindle. I don't own a physical copy, but this is the final book in the Legends of Thesmar series. I've been reading this series for a few months now, and her new series that takes place 5 years after this series, set in the same world, same characters, or some of the same characters, comes out in January. So I really want to finish this series before that series comes out, and I want it fresh in my mind. So if I read it before the end of the year, I think I'll be good, and I can't wait to jump into her new series. I think it follows a sister and a friend from this series, and I cannot wait. The tension between them already is like so good, and I'm so excited to see what this author does with this couple and kind of where their story leads. But in order to pick that one up, I don't want to be spoiled by the end of this series, so it needs to happen this year. All right, my friends, that is the final list, my 10 before the end. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have either read and loved any of these books, or if any of these books are also on your end of year TBR, because I love knowing what people are reading. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye!